Today's video we're going to do some bourbon hunting at the Party Source in Bellevue, Kentucky, just across the river from Cincinnati.
Shh. Be very, very quiet. I'm hunting
Bourbon.
What's up, Doc?
You got a tight little
Blanton's.
on you, don't you? Oh, it stinks. Nice and good.
Now this place has just got to be one of the largest liquor stores I've ever been into. It is humongous. They've pretty much got everything you could ever want, and their bourbon selection is pretty huge. That's a humidor there with just hundreds, if not thousands, of different cigars. The bourbon area is quite spread out, so you have to sort of look in a couple of different places, but here seems to be some of their stuff that's special or for sale. These guys also have a mountain of store picks. There's a Angel's Envy Party Source store pick. E.J. Curley, that's one of those old names with a whole bunch of history, but hard to say who actually owns them now. Watershed, I've tried a bunch of Watershed, that stuff's really good. Jebediah Creek, another one there, it's pretty good on the Bourbon Trail. That Hard Truth Mellencamp Sweet Harvest Rye, that is fantastic. 85 bucks. I actually did try that at a buddy's place. One of the best ryes I think I've almost ever had. So if you see that one, definitely worth grabbing. Some stuff there behind the glass was a bit hard to see what was going on there. A lot of it wasn't bourbon. A lot of the stuff here wasn't particularly bourbon, so just ran through it. Some Heaven's Door. Some jar. Not whiskey in a jar though. So here we go down the bourbon aisle. Trying something new here, putting the camera in slow motion and running down the aisle, so let's see how it works out. They got a lot of Redwood Empire there and the cast strength. I'm not a big fan of the Redwood Empire standard, but that cast strength is really good. A bunch of different smoke wagons there. The 291, I'm not a big fan of the 291. I've tried it just samples at liquor stores, and it's not bad, but it's for me, it's not great. Oak and Eden, never really tried it. They've got some of their gimmicky ones where you can get like spirals of wood in there. Garrison Brothers, once again, I think I've said I'm not a huge Texas whiskey fan. Someone can try and prove me wrong. Then Catcher's Rise out of Michigan, and here's the Dettling from Alabama. There is a cast strength one that was 55 months old, still not the 60. I'll put a link down below to a video from Brewzle with Seth Dettling. Very, very interesting guy, and really looking for a really old one of those with the yellow dipped wax. Sagamore and Widow Jane. Bunch of different blackened ones, and a little Heaven's Door gift pack that, as long as they're not overly priced, is not a bad way to try. You know, I like 375s. I think 375 should be a bigger thing. There's a gun. Bet you that tastes like hot garbage. Hell House, that's not good. And some of these ones with these gimmicky, they look cool, but yeah, I don't know, man. A gimmicky bottle normally means bad whiskey in my book. Murray Hill, Lucky 7, Proprietor 14 is fantastic. These other ones are not that good, but also much, much cheaper. A bunch of dinging and donging in the background. Backbone. That Backbone bourbon, if you ever see like old skeleton bones, old dragon bones, it's pretty hard to find. It can be expensive, but that stuff's good. Frank August, I've never really tried that, but a nice bottle. Copper and Kings and Buzzard Roost. Old Louisville. I know someone that I know, Chasing Bourbon, is hopefully doing a pick with them. Should be released soon, so pretty keen to try that out. Castle and King, do not like. And the old chicken cock. Can't have a video without some cock. And what do we got here? OKI, I think that's a brand that started off a blender and started off really good and then sort of went downhill like a lot of it. That Bardstown Amaroot, that is actually really good, and a whole bunch of Bardstown here, a lot of Bardstown, really good, but that 11 is fantastic, and that Amaroot, that's pretty nice too. Not a doisy dainty, but it's pretty good. Yellowstone, that's fine. I'm not a huge fan of Yellowstone, but some of its stuff's pretty good.
Hey, Lloyd, we're done.
It ain't midnight yet.
Midnight enough.
So when you come to a mega store like this, you just see how big the bourbon market is, with just so many brands, you know, ones I've never seen before. And this is just the top shelf of a length of shelves that just went, you know, I don't know, 40, 50, 60 yards. It was huge. Buffalo Trace White Dog, and don't like the Manhattan mix, that Schiller thing that uses Buffalo Trace, but their Old Fashioned is one of the best Old Fashions that I make a good Old Fashioned, but that one's better. Watch my Old Fashioned video, see how I make an Old Fashioned. Nashville Barrel, they do some great stuff. Some of their picks are just fantastic. Uncle Nearest, I haven't honestly tried too much of that. More of a Jack fan, but if you hear the story, Uncle Nearest was the black guy that actually taught Jack Daniels how to distill whiskey. That's the story. And then, yeah, Pot Still. Most people don't like it. I don't love it. I hate that. That is fucking yuck. 4-year Willet Rye. Drain pour garbage. Ugh. Literally, it's probably one of the only bourbons. Nah, there's a few, but that is one I cannot drink. Only tried it once, but that's enough. Wild Turkey 101. You know, if you're going to get Wild Turkey for me, go Rare Breed. 2XO, that Kentucky Gem single barrel stuff from Deadman, I think. And he does blending he's a bit of famous blender, and he does some really good stuff in that Kentucky Gem. Even though it's all single barrels, some of it is apparently amazing. Basil Hayden, not a fan. Old Tub, yuck, cheap. Now we get into the cheap shit. If you're looking down here, you might want to go for the Jim Beam 7-year that's just come out. Apparently that's not bad if you're in this sort of market. And then we're getting into some flavored stuff. And if you're in this market, I am sorry. No, you know, everything's got its place. And hey, whether it's flavored or finished, it's a fine line these days. Some Rebel 100, a whole bunch of McKenna. Remember when that used to be like hard to find? Well, getting more and more less so. They did have the new Knob Creek 10-year rye. Pretty interested to try that, but sometimes you just got to limit yourself, right? I've always wondered why people don't buy stuff on these bourbon hunting videos. Like, why don't you buy it all? It's like, because man, I have so much bourbon at home. And I was coming home, I did a short on what I had at home, and it was a lot. So this J.W. Kelly seems to be a new place out of Chattanooga. Well, new to me, I've not seen it before. Once again, got an old backstory of a guy who started a thing in the 1800s, but, you know, some people, they just seem to have to grab on to an old historic story. Whether they've got any relation to the modern is, you know, to be determined. But I've never tried it, never seen it, so we'll have to give these guys a go. Mr. and Mrs. This was founded by Russ Smith. I guess he is a basketball player from Kentucky. There's probably people going, "You don't fucking know who Mark Smith is." No, not really into the b-ball, the basketball. So this Ingram's is an interesting story. They put it on a barge and set it on the Mississippi. I don't know if it actually floats up and down the Mississippi. I think it just sits there, but I've always wondered why they didn't do that. You know, that's historic, because that's how sort of bourbon started, right? They used to put it in barrels, take it from Kentucky and float it down the Mississippi to New Orleans. When it got to New Orleans, they took it out of the barrel and they realized, hey, this is way better than it went in. So all that sloshing around, and then they charred the barrel to just sanitary purposes, believe, and that made it even better, right? Set it in a barrel, set it in a charred barrel for longer the better. Bourbon. And up here is some Boones County. Boones County is another one of those old labels that was revived in 2015. You see them a lot on secondary going for a lot of money, but maybe the older stuff more than the newer stuff. But I think some of the newer stuff is pretty well regarded as well. There's Jefferson's. Jefferson's Ocean is another bottle that's similar to that Mississippi thing. Sat on a boat, traveled around the world. And New Riff. New Riff is actually in the same parking lot as these guys. You go into a parking lot, and it's the parking lot for the New Riff distillery and the party sauce. So another bluegrass distillers there. Looks like it's from Kentucky, and someone I have not heard of, Michter's. Yeah, fantastic stuff. This is their standard offering, which is still great and readily available. K-Luke. K-Luke is a blender, and he does some fantastic stuff. This was batch 7. Not cheap, but still pretty good. Put him in the sort of like a Barrel King, but doesn't do as many different finishes. I think he's got 7 or 8 different batches right now. Rossville Union, don't really know much about that. Comment if you do below. And MB Roland, I have not heard of them either, so comment below. Make sure you guys like this thing too, like the video. If you're watching it, and if you watch this far, hit the like button. Something I don't normally ask, but been running a few things through the algorithm, and definitely comments and likes make a huge difference on how, the old YouTube pushes this video to who it pushes it to, because apart from the few people that actually subscribe and watch, if YouTube doesn't push it, it goes nowhere. Town Branch, square bottles. I like square bottles. If you have a lot of them, they stack nicely. And Peerless. Peerless is good. I really like their double oak. The double oak one is great, sitting on my shelf right now. And we're back to the EJ Curly. What's down here? Blade and Bow. That's the old Stitzel Weller distillery, but once again, nothing much to do with Stitzel Weller, except for that they make it in the same place they used to make it. Not too bad. And they have a 22-year-old one, which is uber expensive. War Eagle, guaranteed, tastes like shit. Comment if you say otherwise, but anything with a cool looking bottle, right? And Abraham Lincoln, I don't know, this is getting pretty. Fort Hamilton, Mackenzie, Short Barrel. Short Barrel's good. I've got Short Barrel Bee's Knees open right now, and it's a honey finished one. Fantastic, delicious. Dad's Hat, yeah, lonely little Woodford Double Oak sitting down there. Ben Holiday, fantastic. Pretty much all the Ben Holiday I have tried is great. Traverse City does some really good store picks too, and High West. That High West whiskey, the little baby bottle there, pretty interesting. Tin Cup, no, haven't really tried much Tin Cup. Comes with a tin cup though, I believe. Yeah, look at it, nice tin cup. And back to the Old Elk. Old Elk's pretty good. I had a store pick of Old Elk that was really, really nice. Balcones, I wonder if they're the same guys that don't they do like vodka or something like that? I don't know. And Three Chord is that musician guy. That name escapes me right now, but I believe I've heard that some of their stuff's not too bad too. Just more labels, right? 1620. Who the hell are they? Who's that? Bella of Bedford. Whistle Pig. It's good. Some of that stuff's good. I got the piggy bank one sitting on my. I don't really want to break them open. You drink from the ass of the pig. That's pretty cool. Some of it's really expensive though, like that Boss Hoss stuff. Oh man, $700-800. It's good, but it's not that good. And then there's that Hard Truth Mellencamp Harvest Rye again. That is really good. Middle West Spirits, that's another good one. That one comes from up in Ohio, I believe. See that a lot up in Ohio, and really need to try more of their different varieties. And Jebediah Creed and RD1, they've changed their bottles a bit. I've seen a bunch of different bottles, but like I say, their Amberana is one of the best Amberanas out there right now. At James E. Pepper, I tried a sample of that at a liquor store. It's really good. And Remus, that's like a Ross and Squibb brand now. And Pursuit United, great podcast. The Prideful Goat, another great podcast / YouTube guy. Also great whiskey. Dark Arts, I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about them lately. They've been doing all sorts of different flavors and types. So the F King, oh, looks like F King is a vodka producer that's trying to make bourbon now, and their website's all about this and that. Anyway, Dovetail for like $540. Like, come on, is anyone buying that? So expensive. And the Deckle for like $500. Don't buy that. Jack Daniels, that's good. But yeah, Dovetail, you just see it everywhere, and it just doesn't sell because, you know, it's 16 or 17 year stuff, and it probably is great. But for $540, that's in a new league. All the Bardstown stuff there, Whistle Pig, like I say, $330 for a 15-year Whistle Pig when you can get a 12 for half the price. Sweetens Cove, that's all Manning, isn't it? Didn't you do that? And the old Stubborn there, $250, pretty expensive, but I do have a sample of it, and if I'd tried the sample, maybe I would have purchased that, because that does seem to interest me. And the old chicken cock, can't get by without some cock. So that's the end of the video. I hope you all liked it, and comment about anything you saw on there that you would have picked up, and well, hit the like button, all that stuff. See you next time.